Hi guys and welcome. Today I'm going to be trying out a whole lot of new makeup today. First up we've got the Hourglass Illusion. It's the Luminous Glow Foundation. And then I'm going to be trying out the new SUQQU collection. That is the pre-summer one. It's called the Stellar Allure collection. And I've got one of the eyeshadow quads, and I also picked up a blush as well. I just think they both look really gorgeous. I haven't tried them yet and dying to try them out. And I'm also going to try out a new lipstick today. It's the Sisley Velvet, the long wear soft matte one, and I got this in the shade number 10. So with the new Hourglass foundation, it does say it has a luminous glow. I haven't seen any reviews on this and I haven't tried it yet, so we'll give it a go and see what it's like with my oily skin. I'm just going to pop my headband on just to keep my hair out of the way, and because this is a luminous glow foundation, I think I'll put on one of my favorite primers. This is the Chanel mattifying one, and this is a new tube. I ran out of my other one finally, so just put a little bit through T-zone. Now it's still warm today, it's not going to be hot. In fact, I think we're going to get a bit of rain, which is really good news. And with this foundation, with luminous glow ones, they tend to wear better with my oily skin when the weather cools down a little bit, autumn, winter and early spring. But I think this will still be a good test of it. And I'll also show it to you in natural light, and I'll wear it for the whole day, and I'll pin a comment once I upload this video and let you know my final thoughts and how it wore. So this is what the outside packaging looks like, just the typical Hourglass packaging. This has also SPF 30 in it. It has 35 mils of product. It is made in the USA and has a shelf life of 12 months from date of opening. Now on the Hourglass website, it says this all-in-one formula combines the benefits of a broad spectrum SPF 30 sunscreen, advanced skincare and high performance foundation for an unbelievably luminous glow that lasts all day. Its ultra creamy texture melts into skin to visibly smooth and diminish the appearance of imperfections for a luminous, even-toned complexion. Infused with advanced hydra smoothing technology, this intensely moisturizing formula is clinically proven to visibly reduce fine lines and wrinkles, while broad spectrum SPF 30 sunscreen helps protect skin from sun damage and early signs of aging. Now those of you that watch my other videos know that for my last step in my skincare, I always put on sunscreen, and I did put on a little bit more of sunscreen probably about 15 minutes ago before I started this video. And although this is great that this has SPF 30 in it, please don't rely on it to give you that protection that you need. You need to put on a decent amount of sunscreen, and when products do have an SPF in them, I just see it as an added bonus. So if I'm able to with this foundation, what I'll do is I'll take a screenshot and put up the ingredients list so you can take a look at it now. So you would have seen at the start of this video that this comes in this gold tube. I'm just going to put a little bit of this on the back of my hand now. Now I got this in the shade 6, and I think it's going to be okay shade wise. Now also on this they say it has 12-hour wear, transfer and crease resistant. And they say, as I said before, it doesn't settle into fine lines, and supposedly it doesn't oxidize throughout the day. And this foundation also comes in 26 shades. So this is what the foundation looks like. It doesn't move down at all. So it is quite thick, and then when I go to rub it out, it's just like they say it is. It does feel really creamy. So I was thinking I was going to put this on with a beauty blender, but what I'll do one side with the beauty blender and I'll do another side with the brush and see if there's any difference. And when I've finished it all and showed you also in natural light, if it needs evening up, then I'll do that. So I'm going to start off with a beauty blender. Now it doesn't say what type of coverage this has, so I'll start blending this out. Now, if it is as moisturizing as what they say it is, it may not be suitable for my oily skin, but probably be perfect for those with normal to dry skin. So I would say this has, and this is with a beauty blender, and that tends to sheer up products a little bit more. but I would say it has a light towards medium coverage. Now their main claim is that it evens out the complexion, and I would say that is what it is doing without giving any type of, it doesn't give a mask type effect. And just what's left on my beauty blender, I'm just going to put some under my eyes as well, put a little bit more over my eyelid. Now I will see whether this is buildable, but first of all I'm just going to do the other side and going to use a brush. So I'll just stop what I've got left just on this side. But it goes into the skin really beautifully. I'm just using the BK Beauty brush. This is the foundation one. And what I'm going to do is just type, this is how I use the brush. I do a type of stippling. I don't tend to swipe my foundations on. Instead, I stipple them in. So I will put a little bit more on in a minute just to see if it builds up just a little bit more through here. But at this stage, I think it does look really beautiful. When I go to touch it, it does feel very creamy. So I am going to have to powder it down, and I'll do that after I've shown it to you in natural light. So with the beauty blender and this side with the brush. And either way, I think it applies really beautifully. You do get the odd foundation where it works better with a beauty blender or works better with a brush, but this is one of those foundations, and the majority of them, where both forms of application work equally well. So it doesn't settle into my lines, and I think it is very flattering on my mature skin. And I think at this stage it does have that really beautiful luminous glow like they say it does. But the problem when you've got oily skin is it depends on the temperature of the day. But like it is today, it's warm. Within probably quarter of an hour or half an hour, my oils will start to break through. And what can happen is that it goes beyond a gorgeous glow and starts to look greasy. And that's just what happens when you've got oily skin. But it doesn't settle into my lines. I put a little bit under my eyes as well, as you saw. And it gives, so I would say it's a strong light coverage heading towards medium. So let's just put a little bit more on. I'm just going to put some extra just through here just to see how it builds up. I like this tube that it comes in. I think this is really good packaging. Sometimes I prefer a pump, but I do like this tube. So I'm just going to put another dot through here, another dot through here, and just over my nose as well. I do have a sunspot there. Now I don't expect a foundation, or really don't even want a foundation to give me full coverage. I don't like that mask-like effect, but I just want to see whether this builds up. So on the side, just use my brush again. And I think you can, I think it does build up. So heading towards a medium finish. And then the other side, just use my beauty blender again and just go over through here. Now it doesn't go anywhere near full coverage, so I can still slightly see my sunspot, a tiny bit of redness through there, but I actually prefer that. I like your natural skin to show through as well with a foundation. So far so good. I do think it looks really beautiful on the skin. Now off camera I'm going to put some concealer on, eyeshadow primer, and do my eyebrows, and then when I come back I'll show you this in natural light. So I'm out in my lounge area and I have a ton of natural light in here. It's only been about 5 minutes since I last spoke to you, and the foundation of course is still looking really lovely. So this is the side with Beauty Blender, this is the side with the brush, and both forms of application. I think the foundation went on really beautifully. Now I do have a mirror in front of me because while I'm out here in the natural light I also want to take a really close look at this. At this stage, of course, it hasn't been that long since I put on the foundation, but when I take a close look, it doesn't settle into my lines and wrinkles under my eyes. It's not settling into any of my lines down through here. It does have that luminous glow. It does even out the complexion. So if you're expecting a foundation that's going to give you a solid medium to a full coverage, this isn't it. And when I go to touch it now, it still feels for me like I need to powder it down, because as I was saying earlier, with my oily skin, it'll just end up looking greasy. But it does even out the complexion, and I think it gives a very beautiful, very natural look to the skin. So I've just powdered under my eyes, and now I'm going to powder the rest of my face. I'm going to use the Chanel Natural Finish loose powder and pop it on using my Mer brush, because I definitely do need to powder this down. But if this lasts really well during the day, then I think this would be a really beautiful foundation for those of you with normal to dry skin. It does have a beautiful creamy texture, and it doesn't have, as I was saying earlier, it just doesn't have a mask-like effect. It just evens everything out and just makes your skin look radiant and beautiful. So I'm not going to put on any bronzer. I may towards the end of the video, because I want to show you what this blush is going to look like just on its own. So at the beginning of the video, I said that I picked up the SUQQU eyeshadow palette. I couldn't resist. I wasn't going to get anything from SUQQU, but when I saw this eyeshadow palette, I just couldn't resist. It's got beautiful, it's that purple and mauve. It's just absolutely gorgeous. Now in this collection there are 2 eyeshadow quads. They are limited edition. You've also got 2 lipsticks. They're called the Velvet Fit lipsticks, and also you've got 2 blushes. I picked up one of them, and there's also a highlighter as well. It's a really gorgeous collection, and this is their pre-summer one. I picked mine up from Selfridges, and I think both of the eyeshadow quads sold out really quickly, but I do think that they are still available at Harrods. So this is eyeshadow quad number 146, and I'll just show you a close-up of it again, because it's just, I think it's just absolutely gorgeous. So this is swatched from left to right and top to bottom. So first of all, you've got a shimmer, then you've got a matte, and another shimmer, and finally another matte. This is just so pretty. So I'm going to take my Reference number 14 brush, and I'm going to start off with this shade here. Now these are so creamy that they almost feel like a satin. Now the other thing with SUQQU eyeshadows is that when you first lay them down, you don't tend to get a lot of pigment, which is what I actually prefer with an eyeshadow, but they are definitely buildable. And then I think what I'm going to do with that shade is I'm also going to put that all over my lid as well. I'm going to take my Reference number 3, I'm staying with the same shade, and I'm going to put this under my lower lash line. With this collection, I was also very tempted to pick up the other eyeshadow quad as well, but I have restrained myself. Now I'm going to go into this shade down here, and I'm going to put this in the outer corner. I'm just staying with my Reference number 14 brush. And then back to the Reference 3. And with the same shade, I'm also going to put some of this on my lower lash line as well. Now, even though the 2 shades that I've put on with the matte formula are just absolutely beautiful, with SUQQU quads, the magic normally happens once you start to go into their shimmer shades. So first of all, I'm going to go into this one here, and I've just got the Sonia G. This is the Builder Pro. And I'm going to put that over the rest of my lid. And up through here as well. It's just something about the SUQQU formula, I think, that is just magic, and it always just gives this beautiful ethereal look to the eyes. As I was saying earlier, they're not overly pigmented, but they are buildable, and they always just look very soft and just absolutely gorgeous. Now I'm going to use this shimmer highlight in here, and it's got like a marbled effect, so you've got a lighter purple and then you've got just almost a white in there as well. So I'm going to use a little bit of this first, and I've just wiped down my brush before I put it back in the pan. I'm just going to add a small amount through there. It's just gorgeous. So I just wiped down my Reference number 3 brush, and I've just put a little bit of this lightest part in here, just in the inner corner. So now I'm just going to do the other eye as well. So for the eyeliner, I put on a grey one because I always think grey goes really beautifully with purple, and I've spoken about it before, but I prefer a grey eyeliner over a black one. The black ones can sometimes look a little bit harsh, whereas grey you get that depth and it just goes gorgeous with this eye colour story. So here is the finished eye look. And I think it looks just so pretty. SUQQU is such an elegant brand, and the eyeshadows are also elegant as well. The shimmers just look really pretty. It's that ethereal look. It's not in your face like moonbeams on your eyes, and they never emphasize texture. Just so beautiful. So now let's take a look at this gorgeous blush. I showed it to you at the beginning of the video, but I'll hold it up for you again. So this is the SUQQU Blurring Color Blush, and this is number 109. This is also limited edition. So here it is swatched. You've got the darker shade there, the lighter shade, and this is with them both mixed together. So I'm going to take my SUQQU brush and go into the deeper part down here. I think this is a really beautiful shade of pink, really gorgeous. And I haven't purchased a SUQQU blush for quite a while, but the other ones that I have in my collection, there have been different formulas. I think there was the melting one as well, which had a gorgeous formula. But I think I have tried one of these before as well, and it was just gorgeous. And you can just see how beautifully it goes on. Now again, quite sheer to begin with, but you can build it up. So I'll build it up now so you can take a look. And that is just super pretty. And I'm not surprised because they're always just so beautiful. The SUQQU blushes, they never disappoint. This is a shade where you do need to build it up quite a bit if you want. You can get a very sheer wash of colour, or as I showed you on this cheek, you can build it up a little bit. So I'm going to just build this one up as well. And then I'm just going to go into the lighter shade up here and put a little bit through here. Now it's not supposed to be a highlighter, but because it is lighter, it's going to just lighten it up just on the top of my cheekbones without having to use a highlighter. And I just think this shade is just gorgeous. It reminds me of the pink that you see in blossoms at springtime that come out, and they have that, there's white, and then some of them are this really beautiful pink as well, and it reminds me of that. It's a really gorgeous shade. So now let's take a look at the new lipstick that I picked up. This is the Sisley, the Fito Rouge Velvet. This is shade number 10. And this is the one called Beige Nude. Now I have worn this a couple of times and it goes on really beautifully, and the formula is gorgeous as well. It doesn't feel like a dried down flat matte at all, and it also has fairly good stain power. With my lipsticks, they do tend to wear off quicker than for other people, and I don't know what the reason for that is. Maybe because I drink too much coffee, or perhaps I even eat too much, I'm not sure, but it does have pretty good stain power. So the casing of this is really beautiful. You've got the Sisley logo at the end, and this pattern is similar to other lipsticks that they've put out, but it's almost like it is a brushed type of finish to it, so more matte and not shiny. And this is what Beige Nude looks like. It has the brown on there, but there's also a slight amount of pink in there as well. So here is the finished look, and altogether I just think this looks really pretty. Let's have a chat about this Hourglass foundation. I think it goes on beautifully, has a gorgeous thick creamy consistency. Wouldn't work for me in the middle of summer when it is hot and humid, but I don't feel like I need to repowder, and I've had a few interruptions during this video. I had to go and do a couple of other things, been sitting under these warm lights, and at this stage I don't feel like it needs repowdering. So it's not going to go, like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, to that greasy look really quickly. I thought after feeling the consistency of this within half an hour I'll probably look like a glazed donut and need to repowder, but it's not like that at all. Although, as I also mentioned today, it is warm, but it's definitely not hot, and there is a bit of a breeze outside. I have got my windows open. I haven't had to have my fan going, and there is a little bit of a breeze coming in. So although this wouldn't suit me, I don't think, in the middle of summer during those hot humid days, this is definitely a foundation, I think, depending on how it wears for the rest of the day, but one for me in the cooler months and definitely winter and the beginning of spring. Now, because of its beautiful creamy formula, I think those with normal to dry skin would absolutely love this. This went on beautifully. If I have another look at it now, still not settling into lines. It doesn't give full coverage. If you're after a foundation that gives that full type of coverage, you're not going to get it with this. It goes on first as a light coverage and evens out the complexion beautifully. It can be built up towards a medium. I think it's gorgeous. It doesn't look mask-like. At this stage, it's super flattering on my mature skin, not settling into my lines, and there was no patchiness at all when I put it on. But it hasn't been that long that I've been wearing it. I'll probably wear this for at least 10 hours today, and I will pin a comment and let you know my final thoughts on it. The eyeshadow quad from SUQQU is just beautiful. Blended it out like a dream, and as usual, the magic happens once you start putting on those shimmer shades. They give that sparkle, but it's just that soft ethereal sparkle, never emphasize texture, just a beautiful, beautiful, elegant brand. And this blush is just so pretty. I love this shade down here, this pink. I think it is gorgeous. It goes on beautifully. It says it's a blurring blush, and I think that it does blur the skin to some degree. I also like the lighter shade in here, so you can get a bit of lightness up onto your cheekbones, but just beautiful, and the formula is just gorgeous. This also came out in 2 shades as well, and they are both limited edition. The Sisley lipstick is really lovely. This will be the 3rd time that I've used this lipstick since I purchased it, and it really is a beautiful velvet formula. These came out in quite a few different shades, but I just wanted to start off with this one. It was more of a safe shade for me. As I said, these wear well for me. I'll probably have to reapply it again in probably about 3 hours. That might seem quite quick for some people, but for me, that's probably better than average. As I've mentioned before in other videos, the only matte lipstick, and this isn't matte, this is a soft velvet, but the only type of lipstick that really stays put all day for me are those Chanel ones. Those are the liquid duo ones, but the formula of this is beautiful. It just glides on your lips just beautifully, and it never dries down to that flat matte, so you don't get it emphasizing the lines on your lips either. It's really, really lovely. So I'm really thrilled with everything that I picked up. It looks beautiful. We'll just see how this foundation goes. At this stage, it's still looking really gorgeous. I'll let you know what it's like in 8 to 10 hours time. So that's it for today's video. I would love it if you gave it a like and subscribed, and I will see you next time. Bye.